Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Hamish and today we're going to be talking about how you can save more money. One of the most important parts of investing and becoming an entrepreneur is that you need to have more capital available to you to make investments, whether that's investments specifically in the stock market, or it's investments in yourself, or it's investments in other kinds of things. You're going to want to have more money left over at the end of the day so that you can have more money available to you when there's opportunities that arise. There's two really important aspects to saving more money, and I'm going to go over both of them in this video. We're going to talk about how you can firstly decrease your expenses, cut away any expenses that are not necessary in your life, and then we're going to talk about how you can increase your income. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that as well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit subscribe and like the video, and let's get into it. So one of the most important aspects of saving money is you need to reduce your expenses. And that is because we spend a lot of money, and we spend a lot of money on things that we don't really need. And if you're not recording your transactions, if you're not recording what you're spending every single day or every single week, then it's really hard to notice or realize that you're actually spending way more than you need to. So that brings us to the first tip for reducing your expenses, which is you need to record your transactions. And there's a number of different ways you can do this. The easiest way to do it is just to use an app that will connect with your bank, or that you can manually enter transactions into. The app that I use is Money Lover. I've tried a whole heap of different apps. I think I went through maybe 10 different budgeting apps. I've tried Pocketbook, I've tried Monify, but Money Lover seemed to be really good for me, and it was just my personal favorite. I suggest that you go out there and you download a couple, see which one you like the best, and just go with that one, because everyone's different and every app is a little bit different. There were a few that I liked better than Money Lover. However, they had a premium version to them, and I think Money Lover did have a premium version to it, but it was a one-time payment and it was pretty small, whereas some of the really good budgeting apps, they're an ongoing fee, and I don't really want to be paying any sort of ongoing fees that I don't need to, because that's an expense that I don't need to have. So basically what you want to do is, in these apps, they'll give you the opportunity to break down your spending into categories, and some people break down their spending into just every tiny little category, but I like to just keep it really broad. So I keep it into 4 or 5 broad categories. So any time I spend money on food or eating out, that's just under food and dining. Anytime I go into the city or hanging out with friends, I just call that entertainment. And I just have these broad categories that represent different things that I'm spending my money on. And that way it's not going to get too complicated, and I can see, okay, this is how much I'm spending on food. This is how much I'm spending on car-related things like petrol. And it makes it really easy to see where your money is going each month. So once you start recording these transactions and you can see how much you're spending in each category, you can see which one is eating away most of your income. And a lot of the time it's just food and drinks and going out and that sort of thing. And you can have a look at this and you can see, okay, I spent $10 at university every day this week. Maybe I can take lunch instead. And then that's, if you're going to university 3 times a week, that's $30. That's a lot of money over the year. So these are the ways you want to go about it. You just want to record your transactions, have a look at it, and just see where you can cut down spending. And you'll be surprised. You can cut out quite a lot, and you can actually save quite a lot each week by picking out the little things that are unnecessary and getting rid of them out of your expenses. So then the last thing I do to reduce my expenses is that I set a budget for each of these categories. So not only do I record the transactions for each of those categories, after a month or two of having a look at it, I say, okay, this is how much I generally spend on food and drink. I'm going to make a budget that's maybe $10 or $20 less per month for that category, and then I'll do the same for each category. And then over time I've just slowly reduced each category's budget. So I've slowly started to spend less in each category. And it can be really hard to just say, okay, I'm going to save half my pay all of a sudden, or I'm going to stop spending, this much this week. You need to The easiest way to do it is you just need to whittle away at it. So you go a little bit at a time. You slowly reduce your budget. If you have a budget for $100 a month on some sort of category, so you'll take that $100 and maybe the next month you'll put it down to 90, and the next month you put it down to 85, whatever suits you. But the slower you do it and just little increments, it'll make it really easy to save a lot of money in the long term. So that covers how you can reduce your expenses to save money, but there's another side to it. There's the side of increasing your income to increase the amount of money that you're bringing in, and therefore you'll have more money left over. So the first way you could look at it is that you could change the amount of money that you're earning at your current job. So if you're working in some sort of position, maybe you could move up in a position. Maybe you could look for other jobs that pay better. Maybe you could take on more hours. And these are the kind of ways that you could increase your pay from your one income source, which is probably your main job. And if you're young like me, that's pretty easy to do. Like, it's not that hard to go on Seek or job search and just find some other jobs that are maybe just paying a little bit better. And if you're comfortable with changing jobs, then you should go for that. And you can always ask your manager for more hours. You can always do that, especially if you're young. You probably have a lot of time on your hands, and maybe you won't enjoy working that much, but to get a little bit extra money each week, you can do that as an option. But I want to stress, that's not my favorite way of increasing your income, because essentially if you just take on more hours, or you just take on a bigger role in a different job, you're just increasing the amount of work, the amount of time you spend working for someone else, basically. And I really don't like the idea of spending a lot of my time working on someone else's dream. You know, working a job that someone else owns, that someone else is reaping the benefits of my work for them. I want to spend my time creating income streams that are working on myself. So this is where increasing the number of income streams comes in. If you create these passive income streams, so these are streams of income that come in whether or not you're doing the work at the time. So you spend a bit of time setting them up in the early days, and then they continue to bring you income regardless of how much work you put in. Passive income essentially allows your money to work for you. I'll give you an example. My second income stream is the dividends that I receive from my stocks. So I have a number of dividend stocks. One is an ETF that just pays me a dividend from the ETF, and one is from a banking stock. And both of those pay me out a dividend. Although I don't actually get paid out, I get the money reinvested into stocks. But essentially, I'm getting an amount put into stocks for me without actually doing any work. And that's the great thing about passive income, is that I don't actually have to be there to earn the dividend. I just had to let my money work for me. And the thing is about these passive income streams is it's really fun and exciting to do, because you're actually working on creating things for yourself. And once you create a second income source, the opportunities to create more income sources just seem to appear, and they just seem more exciting. Like, for example, so I have my main job and I have my dividends, and now I'm working on creating YouTube as a third source of income eventually. Down the road, of course, there's a lot of work that you've got to put in early on with YouTube before you see the benefits. I'm also learning about Amazon, fulfillment by Amazon, which is basically wholesaling through private labeling through Amazon. I think that's really interesting, and I think there's a great opportunity there, especially since Amazon Australia is just about to start. And basically just all these different things appear to you, and slowly, maybe they're not really big income sources. Like, my dividends is a very small income source compared to my job, but as you work on these income sources, they start to snowball, and if you have 3, 4, 5, they add up, and they start to add up. And in that way, you can really increase your income a lot. Passive income is a thing that I'm a huge advocate of. I really love the idea that you can work on something yourself and create something that's going to be an income stream for the rest of your life, without actually having to continue to put in huge amounts of work. I'll definitely be making a video on that coming up in the future. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.